The MacIver Institute today is proud to be joined by Kim Simac, the founder of Northwoods Patriots. And Kim, you have a very interesting event coming up to mark what has been a remarkable 100 days in office for President Donald Trump. Tell us a little bit about that, the logistics, and how many folks you have planned to come on out this weekend.
Well, we're not certain about how many people yet. We have the capability to host many people at this wonderful venue, but we're looking to bring people together to celebrate the fact that we feel that our new president and his administration are taking bold steps to bring us into a new era, let's say, something that could be more productive, bring back American leadership and American heart. That is something that I think that we all felt was kind of fading away. We are very seriously concerned, though, about a lot of the issues that are going on. Number one for me would be the fracturing that's going on between us, brothers and sisters Americans. That seems like something that has really taken root and is getting worse. And I would like our event to try to bring people together from all sides to see if we can have some good conversation, which is what makes America great.
Kim, what are you hearing from conservatives in the northern part of the state, particularly the first 100 days? We see every night the news filled with protest from the left about the Trump administration policies, what have you. But what are you hearing from Northwoods conservatives about the action, the activity of the Trump administration and certainly the opposition that has gone on to it?
Well, and besides conservatives, I would say that I have a good cross-reference with lots of people because I have my different businesses and the different things I'm involved in. I'm friends and I work with people of all walks of life. And honestly, to turn on the TV set and to listen to what comes across there as all the negative feelings and the outrage, I just am not seeing it by anybody. Normal people are wanting to give a chance to this. Normal people understand that elections have consequences. They go to one way or the other. We went the other way for 8 years, and now we're trying some footing this way. And I see a lot of hopefulness, a lot of, even if it's cautious confidence, but I see people really wanting things to go good. We don't want to have this discourse going on all the time. We want people to be able to work together to raise our children and to have a good environment, not a civil split between all of us. So I see much more optimism out here on the ground in rural Wisconsin and across the Midwest than I think anybody's giving credit to this administration for.
We're talking with Kim Simac, founder of the Northwoods Patriots here at the MacIver Institute. Kim, there's been a lot of activity. This has been a very active first 100 days. We've certainly seen the push to repeal and replace Obamacare. We now have a tax plan out that has created a great deal of dialogue from President Trump. But more than that, the first few days were marked by the president removing some of the onerous regulations that were put in place through executive order by his predecessor, President Barack Obama. Can you talk about your perspective on the first 100 days and the activities that have gone on from this administration?
Well, like you said, there are many different ways that we are seeing things change. With business, I think the pulling back on some of the EPA regulations, especially up here, the Boiler Mac put so many mills out of work. Up here, we have the ability to be able to be much more self-sufficient in a very environmentally sound way by using our natural resources. And effectively, the Obama administration was shutting down virtually many things, whether it was our mining capabilities or a paper mill, along with trade agreements. Another one would be trade agreements, to jump just to another one right away, would be the fact that at least we have a leader right now who is trying to go to the table and bargain for us, the people, what we can get best. Look at the loggers in Wisconsin who are competing with Canadian logs within their own mills. We want to be able to produce healthy businesses, and I think that's the number one thing he's done is maybe try to do a restart on some of the groundwork to be able to go out and be enterprising like we used to be able to do. Then, of course, the other one, besides many, would be the Supreme Court justice getting in there. That is awesome. That is just getting us going again, getting the wheels going instead of being in a lockdown position that the Supreme Court was in. Those would just be a couple.
We've talked about the pushback from the left, certainly. That has been the image we see nightly to the Trump administration. But Kim, there's also the pushback from the right over these first 100 days. Republicans, of course, and the breakdown of a deal that would repeal and replace Obamacare. We're starting to get information on the tax plan that was sent out. And while it has been widely supported by conservatives, there's infighting going on there. What are your thoughts on the infighting that's gone on within the Republican Party and the pushback that is coming from some Republicans against President Trump?
Well, go back to the comment of draining the swamp. President Obama really seemed to entrench everybody there in Washington and muddle down the waters. It seems like through the years of our Republican representatives that are there, I see many of them becoming incapable of making decisions. And I don't know whether it's because their hands are tied by special interests or whether they have lost their way. They are not effective anymore. So if draining the swamp means perhaps term limits or getting fresh faces in there to come and really try to solve problems, that's what I think we're dealing with. I think the Republican platform is rock solid. If you read the Republican platform, to me as a Republican, as a conservative person, everything is in there, but yet we don't seem to bring it to the table in Washington, D.C. I think the states do a much better job of it, representing their different platforms. But in Washington, D.C., it just seems like, I don't want to name names, but it seems like many of these people on our own side are very incapable of showing true leadership. And so I'm sorry, President Trump is bringing true leadership to the table. And if you can't seem to muster up to be a part of the team, then I think it's time to move on to the sidelines. And I really feel passionately about that. I'm a county board member. I'm finishing up my second term. I think I don't want to be there very much longer, not because I don't really appreciate being able to learn what I learn and to try to make thoughtful and good decisions, but because I think it's somebody else's turn. I think citizenship and representing your right to freedom and liberty is everybody's deal. And so when somebody's been in Congress for 27 years or 16 or 30 or 35 and they don't have some yearning to go back home, there's a problem there. And I think that's where a lot of our problems are stemming from.
Do you feel like the Republicans are squandering a golden opportunity? We know the results of the November election. We know the numbers here. If they don't do something now, there is the fear among conservatives that they will indeed lose this golden opportunity to really reform the government.
Absolutely. When you look at a window of maybe 200 days, maybe 200 days would be all that we would have to work with. One thing I'd like to say, and this will not be a very popular thing for me to say, but President Trump, in my opinion, got himself elected with the hard work of a lot of people, that is for sure. But it wasn't really by the Republican Party. And now everybody that has jumped on to his wagon because he won, claiming some sort of pat on the back for being a part of it, it's just not true. It's not there. And I don't know where their loyalties really are, but I really wonder if many of the people who are still running the Republican Party and the conservative seats in Washington, D.C. are really with this administration or are they not? And that is really the question here. There's another election coming up in 2 years, so I think all of them should really be considering it, because you get us all angry a lot from both sides of it, and we'll get out there and get hitting the doors again.
Okay, Kim, as we wrap up, let's talk about the logistics, what people are going to find at this event, this rally, first 100 days of the Trump administration, and all the time and all of the basics, if you don't mind.
It begins at 4, and we're going to run to about 7. We've got, of course, in Northwoods style, we've got brats and we've got beverages, and we're going to have a good time.
Well, you had me at brats, that's for sure. Thanks so much, Kim. We really do appreciate you joining us to talk about the rally coming up and really what's going on with conservatives in the northern part of the state, conservatives in this state, as we look ahead to what's next for the Trump administration and the big policy battles ahead. For the MacIver News Service, I'm Matt Kittle.